Yes, it's that time of the week again. Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching right around the world. It's time for round 4 of the SRL Project Cars 2 Asia Pacific League. That's right, round 4. Where has this season gone already? And F1 rocks. Well, he's made it 4 from 4 last week, and he's made the perfect start to this season. And tonight, it gets even better because we are at the famous Circuit Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. And what a terrific race we are going to have tonight. 22 laps around this beautiful circuit, one of the most famous in motorsport. 7 kilometres, 20 turns, and even the possible chance of rain tonight. It's all happening as I welcome my co-commentator back again for another week. I speak of none other than Rob Pearson. Rob Dog, great to have you back once again.
Yeah, mate, it's been a hell of a season so far. I can't wait for tonight. There is a possibility of rain if I do look at the weather. But yeah, it's going to be a good race. Let's hopefully this qualifying throws up something, but qualifying's not the important part tonight. It's going to be the race. See if anybody can adapt to the conditions, and hopefully not have any incidences, and have a good race.
That is going to be the battle tonight. Like I said, round 4 of this 11-round season. We were in Sakito in Japan last week. And like I mentioned as well, this is an enduro round, so 22 laps around this famous circuit. And, well, so many questions as there are every week. And it all starts now with a 20-minute qualifying session, followed by 22 laps. Fuel and tyre wear are accelerated. Fuel is on. Damage is performance impacting as we take a look at the cars getting ready to come out onto the circuit here tonight. Kart dude there in the beautiful-looking Corvette. A bit unlucky last week, but he'll be looking to get a good result here tonight as the car's coming out onto the circuit for the first time. Don't forget, big thank you to everyone joining us for this live stream tonight. Get your comments in. And we've even got a VIP in the commentary box tonight, James Chastanuff, a.k.a. Chasty. And a good friend of mine, been racing with him for a few years now. But like I said, get your comments in on the live stream. And Andrew Wright saying, Project Cars chat only. We do apologise about that. We had a little bit of a chat there and we might have gone off topic before the start of the stream. But Andy as well, just loving that intro music. That's something new we've got going this week as well. And James Barton says, F1 rocks for the win. And I'm not a betting man, Rob, but that's not a bad bet.
Yeah, he's looking really good for the season. It's unbelievable, his performances. I mean, he wasn't anywhere near quick enough last week, and he still came away with a win. So that's going to be making everybody look looking like they're going to be a bit average. But I think everybody's a bit scared of him. He's a bit of a gun around here, and those Fords are looking pretty quick around here as well. Not too 100% sure what the practice times are from last night, but from what Jason said, I think the Fords are the one to look out for, Trev.
That's going to be the one to look out for. It was the Corvette last week. It could be the Ford this week. We mentioned the chance of rain, possibly. And who knows, that can always spice things up. Overcast conditions for this qualifying session. An ambient temperature of 22 degrees. Track temperature a little bit warmer than that at 32 degrees. Looks like they're going to be on the soft tyres for their qualifying lap. And fastest lap we've seen so far is Truss with a 1:13.9. That seems a little bit quick, doesn't it? 1:13.9. Anyway, but yeah, so that's on a well rubbered-in track. But we've got to watch for that slipstreaming as well. Again, Rob, it's always a factor with these cars.
Yeah, slipstreaming is a big factor of these cars, but slipstreaming very quickly turns into no aero into a corner. So those guys want to be getting as close as they can in the slipstream in the braking area to get down the inside and get some fresh air, because I think around here, very high downforce circuit, very fast corners, you don't want to be losing much aero, and it's gonna really impede your time. But Righty here, he's done the right thing. Well, he hasn't done the right thing. He's gone off through Eau Rouge, but he's done the right thing. He's the first one on the circuit. He doesn't have much traffic to contend with, so he could just focus with getting a lap on at the moment. But yeah, as you see, he's just went off the circuit there. I don't know what's happened to his lap, if it's invalidated or not, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, he's looking pretty good for tonight, isn't he, Trev?
No doubt about that. He's looking very, very pacey indeed. As we see the famous Eau Rouge corner, or is that Radion? Actually, that was a meme going through going across the internet a few months ago. But anyway, fantastic corner. Either way you want to look at it. And just the comments. Look at that. 10 people watching this live stream already. We say it each and every week. We love every one of you. And just have a look at these comments here. Well, actually, we've got the Tier 2 results coming in as well there, Rob. Thule was second, Compact third, John Dog fourth, and Hecker fifth. Not too sure who was first in that one. But anyway, thanks for those results. And that is Tier 2 qualifying. And Rick Elliott, 2 Elliots there. Don't make a ride. Good to see Truss recovered from last week's Bermuda Triangle incident. How unlucky was our man Truss in the Corvette, Rob? He was part of the lead battle. He could have won the race before disappearing off the face of the earth on the last lap.
Arguably, he should have probably won the first race, race last week, Trev. But you know, internet problems do occur, and I mean we can't fix that. Unfortunately, it just happens. It's just almost a DNF in a way. But I think with the way we do our point system, he still picked up some points because he was on the lead lap. But yeah, I think that mistake from not pitting early enough probably put him in the clutches of F1 Rocks, and well, we saw how that went, and F1 got the win there when he probably arguably shouldn't have. But I think he's got to bounce back this week. He's incredibly quick, and I mean, geez, he's always up for a battle, isn't he, Trev?
No doubt about that, as we see HSV, aka Dean McKinnon, now on his hot lap. And Dean, my favourite New South Welshman, I wonder what he's saying there. He'll be looking to get a lap in nice and early. I mentioned about that a good lap time around here, Rob, being a 1:13.9, and that did seem awfully quick. So maybe Truss can manage that in his spaceship, but I reckon it actually is a 2-minute 13.9 lap. And Jace is awfully close to that too, isn't he, in the times at the moment, with a 2:14.7 in the opening 5 minutes of this qualifying session. 20-minute qualifying session, like we've mentioned, Rob, so the drivers usually get about 3 runs of 2 to 3 laps, and you want to get your timing pretty good around here, don't you, in case there's a chance of rain possibly later on in this session.
Yeah, I mean, that's always a threat. Me personally, I'll probably be going and doing some high fuel runs early on before the qualifying, just letting that track rubber up, and when you do your last run on the softs, just bang out a lap on a really sticky circuit. But as you said, there is a threat of rain later on in this session, so that's something to look out for. They might catch a few people out, maybe, you know, we might have a few people who haven't scored many points, haven't had the results they probably deserve, maybe starting up the front, but you never know, it's motorsport.
Yes, anything can happen in motorsport, and it usually does. There we go with our first Murray Walker quote for the week. Only 15 minutes into the session too, Rob. But, well, it's going to be interesting. Could we see teammates slipstreaming? We see it at a few circuits, don't we? We've seen it at Monza with the Ferrari boys in the Formula 1. But, well, are we going to see the VB Racing boys, Righty and Jason? They've tried it. Is it worth... They reckon it's worth about half a second a lap, but, Rob, I've got my doubts.
I don't know. Carty, I was talking to the old Cart dude the other night, and he said he was practicing slipstreaming with his teammates. So, I mean, it's an interesting tactic, isn't it? From what he said, you could probably pick up 3/10 on a straight alone from getting that slipstream, but it can go wrong if you don't get past your teammate going down Kemmel Straight. That could be a bit of a disaster waiting to happen, especially with the loss of air at the front. As I pointed out last week, the Chevys don't seem to suffer too much from the aero loss, but you know, even if you're losing 2% of your aero, you're going to be a bit slower than everybody else. But I don't know. It's a big question, isn't it, Trev?
Well, it certainly is, as we see Cart Dude go across the line. Only a 2-minute 15.6 there, a full second off of Jason Wilkinson in first there with a 2:14.5. Like we said, Truss and some others have set times in the 2 minutes 13 range. As we take a look at Smokey, made his debut in Tier 1 last week. Didn't exactly set the world on fire. Smokey fire there. That's not a great start to our puns for this evening, but he did pretty well though, I've got to admit. And as we see, where's he? Currently 8th with a 2:16 and a half, 2 seconds off the lead time. But halfway through this qualifying session, as the clouds start to gather, it's one of the longest circuits in motorsport from the various places which we go to, and I think indeed the longest track this season, Rob. So it's one of those funny places. You can get rain on some parts of the circuit, but not on others.
Yeah, it's one of those circuits that can really catch you out. I saw that with Lewis Hamilton. I think it was 2007 when it was raining at the top of the circuit. He had slick tyres on and he just went straight forward off of Brissell, the right-hander, long right-hander. But that's a big thing to think about, and I didn't really think about that before the stream started, Trev. It can happen, and I've been caught out by it myself a few years back doing a league race. It was raining in one part of the circuit, wasn't raining on the other part, and I had wet tyres on, and they were absolutely desperate to find some wet water on the dry part. But it's going to catch people out either or. I mean, the slick tyre's going to be quicker in the wet tyre's going to be quicker in the wet. So what way do you go, and how do you defend and race against that in those conditions? That's a big thing that's going to be interesting tonight.
Well, Smokey there having a big moment going through Eau Rouge, going off backwards. There's a bit of a magnet in there for anything with the colour yellow on it. We saw Kevin Magnussen, I think, a couple of years ago go in there backwards in the F1 race, and have a big moment there as we take a look at V8 man now. And I'm not too sure whether Grace is watching the live stream, the better half, but if she is, we know the rules. If he doesn't finish top 5, he might not get a feed tonight. And he's currently in P7, so he's not holding his end of the bargain up. But 2:15, very close these times, aren't they? There is not much between this grid. Look at that, the top 5 guys just with a second between them at the moment, from Kart Dude down to HSV. A 2-minute 14.476 is the time to beat. And with 9 minutes left, it's going to be very interesting to see who can top that time. HSV getting ready for another hot lap. And he's got a bit of traffic there, Rob, but I don't think that's going to worry him too much before his next run.
Yeah, it's not going to worry him too much. I think he's just going to, when he gets to the chicane, he's just going to back it off, make sure he gets into that last part of the chicane, straighten up the car as much as he can and get the run out of it. But traffic is a big issue around here. Aero loss, as I keep saying, people probably are very sick of it by now, but aero loss is a big thing. There you go. He just braked a little bit early so he can get that car straightened up, so he can get a little bit extra speed off the start-finish line. But yeah, Cardi's putting in a good result there so far. 2:14.4. That's, I mean, is it going to be beaten? Is it not? Is it going to be right at the end of this? I do believe everybody else is just going to be coming onto the circuit at this point, just putting maybe a little bit under fueling cars a little, because you don't need as much fuel on the out lap as you do with the flying lap. So probably we'll be seeing cars pulling over to the side of the road after they finish the flying lap. But any advantage is a good advantage, is that right, Trev?
And yes, for sure. And Kart Dude just a little bit salty on the comments, one might say. He says, not a bad lap. With no slipstream. So is he trying to suggest that there's a bit of that action going on with some of the other drivers and teams out there tonight? And our first comment, one of our favourites here on the live stream, Rob, is our man Big Alan Shep, colleague of none other than Jason Wilkinson. And he says, come on Jason, I can see a dry line starting to form. And we love Big Shep, his first comment on the live stream tonight. He likes a frothy or two, and it's about 40 degrees where I am here in this part of the world in northeastern Victoria, so no better time for a frothy than tonight. But I digress, Rob, because Righty has set a new fastest lap. Where's he come from? At 2 minutes 14.2.
Yeah, that's a quick lap. That car's all over the place though. So he's probably got that car set up for qualifying, really pointy at the front, get the car in, and hope and pray the rear end sticks. But yeah, 2:14.2. That's a fantastic lap from Roddy. I haven't seen cars go around here that quick in a long time. So These boys are really pumping in the times, and honestly, there's not that much of a gap between the top 6. I mean, from first to sixth with HSV is a 1.3 seconds, but in the race, that's going to close up a massive amount. I mean, the cars from qualifying to race it up. I mean, in the race, you're going to be running a lot more fuel, and probably might be adding a little bit more wing to the car as well. So it's a bit sticky. And Jason, a 2:14.1. He favours himself around the circuit as well. He's been talking to us in our little group chat, saying that he hopes it's going to be a wet race because he fancies himself a fair bit. Probably gets I reckon if he wins this, Big Alan Ship's going to be buying a McCartan at least, I reckon.
Well, I reckon everybody will be declaring a public holiday if Jason Wilkinson can win tonight. How about that? Look at the gap between Jason and Righty. A 2:14.140, and Jace just says to Righty, anything you can do, I can do better. And what a stunning lap we are seeing, some quick times. The times are tumbling. Cart Dude, there is plenty encouragement for him as well. Currently 3/10 off provisional pole position. And just some of these comments coming through, Rob. We love it. Very good pace, Cart. Get back out there and take pole, man. That's from C.A. Elliott, who's been commenting on the live streams for a couple of weeks now, and I can never remember his actual name, so apologies for that. I keep getting him confused with Rick Elliott, but I digress once again, because Righty, Cart Dude, Jace, they're all going to be looking to set even quicker times with 5 minutes remaining in this qualifying session. I'm excited, and I hope you are too at home watching. Now, just quick mention too, like we said, round 4 of this championship, never too late to get involved, whether that be as a driver or just, if you like, listening to our voices each and every week from 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time on a Thursday. Don't forget www.allthews.supremeracingleague.com and head over to the SRL Project Cars 2 Season 3 forum. 2 tiers, Rob. We are chock-a-block in Tier 1. You can join Tier 2 if you like. And have a look at this. The two VB boys. Look at this. A bit of slipstreaming action, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this about 10 minutes ago. It's going to be interesting. I thought Righty might have been holding up Jason there. Jason had the lights glaring at the back of his teammate there, but this is an interesting thing. See if they can pull out a little bit quicker. They're already 1-2 at the top of the timesheets anyway, but if they can make that gap a bit bigger between them and the Chevys of Cart Dude and Truss and Smokey, I mean, all luck to them, but yeah, I think maybe Jason is the one behind here, so I think he's going to go for the first run, and then Righty will slip in behind him off the Kemmel Straight, and then it'll be his turn for the slipstream effect, if Jason lets him have that, because, let's be honest, Jason is a bit competitive, isn't he, Trev?
Well, only just a tad. No, we're just being humorous, but our man, very competitive Jason Wilkinson. And have a look at these two boys, just 3 minutes, a bit over 3 minutes remaining in this qualifying session. Are there going to be team orders at the Team VB Racing? There is Jason just managing to keep it out of the tyre barrier there, coming through Eau Rouge and up through Radillon onto the main straight, the Kemmel Straight. They're heading towards Les Combes. And these two boys looking very, very good on this lap. They're currently first and second. And I reckon the commentator's curse might have struck, because as soon as I said that, they've gone off the track, Rob.
Yeah, there you go. That's the aero loss, and Jason got that absolutely sideways, as wild as you ever see. There we go. That's our first Mark Scaife quote of tonight. But yeah, sometimes those strategies don't work, especially with cars that need as much aero as these Fords to work, as we've seen in the qualifying. When they get behind each other with a bit of dirty air, they do seem to be a bit wild, but they are a very, very good race car. But it's interesting to see that there's not many Corvettes at the top. I think there's only Cardi and Truss representing the Corvettes. The rest are Fords tonight there, Trev.
Well, the Corvettes, they were pretty slippery, weren't they, in a straight line at Suzuka last week. Not Suzuka, Sakito. Very much like Suzuka, though, mind you, in the Corvettes last week. But they've still got another chance at it, of course. A lap just over 2 minutes around here. So if you can get around quickly enough and start another hot lap, you might be a chance to go one better and improve your time. And the Elliott boys, kind enough to just, Connor Elliott it is, who you may have remembered me mentioning a moment ago. I can never remember his name. So Connor Elliott, great to have your company with us again on the stream. And Rick, that's pretty self-explanatory. And Rob should know who we all are. Good friends of yours, Rob. So thanks very much for joining us. Like we said, also to Big Alan Shep on the stream. And Righty, Andrew Wright as well. Fantastic stuff. But just over a minute remaining in this qualifying session. Have a look at that gap at the top there. Jason and Righty. Can anybody beat the Team VB boys in the final minute of this qualifying session? Kart Dude. It's going to be interesting to see whether he can go about 3/10 quicker and manage to take that pole position. He was very good last week, of course, as well. And then it's Truss in P5, the man who made the disappearing act last week. He'll be looking for a bit of redemption this week. Formula One Rocks there in P4. Speak of the devil, here he is, comes across the line now. Can he go one better than 2:14.693? Yes. Ooh, he improved slightly there, Rob, but still not quite enough. Still 1/10 off of pole position.
I mean, yeah, Formula One Rocks knows this is going to be a long race. It's 22 laps. It is an enduro for our league, so his car's probably got more geared towards the race setup, and we know how good he is just battling with people. And I mean, at the moment, it is the battle of pole position at the moment. I mean, Spa is one of the places where the Battle of the Bulge took place during World War II, so we're going to see a little bit of action here. We've got maybe the Corvette can be the Sherman, and maybe the Ford can also be the Sherman, but maybe captured by the Germans. But yeah, we've got Jason Pole. Qualifying is complete. Jason Pole. Righty's still on track, trying to get those last little tenths. He's so close to getting pole position. Cardi, he's really close. He's going through a rouge. That's that's a bit of a track cut, but I don't think he'll probably get away with that. These cars are a bit slower in a straight line than a GT3 car, so he'll get away with that, just the way the game works. But yeah, I don't know. I can't predict who's going to be on pole tonight.
No, and that is the beauty of this championship. It's unpredictable. I say it's unpredictable, but the same guys won the last last 4 races as Kart Dude off the track. What are you doing, Brody? Everyone's favourite Tasmanian. Well, goodness gracious me, he won't be going better than 3rd position now tonight. 3, 2, 1 qualifying is done and dusted here at Spa in Belgium. Righty can't improve on his time at 2:14.2, fractionally behind Jason Wilkinson. And, well, we always say it, don't we? We reckon Wilco struggles a bit with confidence. No, just joking. But he'll be mighty happy with that time of a 2:14.140 as we welcome our man Neil Haynes to the stream tonight. He's got 10% on his phone. He needs to have a feed. He's back from the day 1 of the first test match in Adelaide, but he is joining us tonight. #Truss. He's going to show us what he's made of. As here comes Formula One Rocks up to pole position.
Gee, there's nothing.
Unbelievable.
Absolutely nothing in there. That's again, that's a bee's fasten between he and Jason Righty there. So yeah, that's a great lap.
Stuff. And Jason Wilkinson taking his hat off as well to Jono, saying, "Whoa, Jono." And we see the great drivers, don't we? Ayrton Senna, Michael Schumacher. Just when the time right at the end of the qualifying session, you see them set those super fast times and find a 10th or 2. But that is the end of qualifying. And if I was Jace, I'd feel a little bit hard done by there. But we'll take a look at the final results now here in qualifying for round 4 of this SRL season. It is Formula One Rocks, the man with the perfect run so far in Season 3. He's on pole position with a 2:14.10, fractionally ahead of Jason in 2nd. His teammate behind him in 3rd. Then it's Kart Dude, a 10th behind him in 4th, ahead of Truss and HSV. Dean McKinnon there in 6th. The rest of the results there on your screen. And oh my goodness gracious me, that's right, your eyes aren't deceiving you. We have a wet race here tonight at Spa. And my 2 favourite words in motorsport, wet race, Spa. have come together, and boy, what are we going to see tonight, Rob?
Lots of action. I mean, it's wet, 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 and I'm not going to start singing You'll Have Us All Around Me, because that'd be embarrassing, but geez. We know Jason really fancies himself in the wet. I think he was fastest in the wet in the practice session last night, so that's going to be interesting, and we know Full On Rocks does not want to give him an inch, so they'll be definitely battling straight away. But then he got Righty and Card Dude and Truss. I mean, they're going to be best of the rest probably at the start of the race, but within the couple of laps, the dry line will be forming, and gee, I mean, I can't HSD out either, or Mighty Murph or Nige Guns either, so gee, it's going to be an action-packed race, but I think probably Nige Guns, the 8-man, probably didn't want to qualified mid-pack, because that's really hard to get out of there, but we'll see what happens. Anybody could probably have a bad start, and they might have a great start and work their way through the field, and we could see a Grosjean incident, but we don't know. We will never know.
Well, I reckon there's one word for what we're about to see, and that is absolute carnage, which is actually 2 words, but I'm very excited here tonight. 22 laps around this circuit in these wet conditions. Big Alan Shep says, all this talk about VB is making me thirsty. Time to go and get a frothy. As Rick Elliott says, I want to hear a Murray Walker classic tonight. I'm sure you will. Spin, spin, spin. Round, round, round he goes. Fantastic stuff. There you go, Rick. And let's see if we can get some good work from Team VB, says Connor Elliott. And we are ready to go racing. It's Formula One Rocks snatching pole position at the last second from Jason Wilkinson ahead of his teammate. But we are ready to go racing here at Spa. 22 laps in wet conditions. Formula One Rocks on pole position. They'll be staring down into turn 1. Lights out. Away we go. Good start off the line from Jason. Now there's contact at the back. Whoa. One of the VB cars is off there. I think it's Righty. As Formula One Rocks leads into turn 1. Somebody else off there too at the start. We said it was going to be carnage, and we're not wrong, as HSV's around as well. Whoa. And there's contact. There's bits and pieces flying everywhere. And I tell you what, we wanted to throw a red flag or a safety car. We don't have safety cars in this, do we?
Can't do got involved in that, and so did Nige Guns.
Incredible stuff. Incredible scenes here. Wet conditions, like we said. So the drivers, 22 laps. It's a long race. And, well, you can't win the race at turn 1, but you can certainly lose it, can't you, Rob?
You certainly can, but look who is the biggest winner out of that. Bubbles up to P4 after qualifying around 10th. That's a great start from him, but a little bit gifted, but hey, I mean, he's a very good driver, and let's see what he can do in the wet. I know he loves this circuit, and I mean, let's see if he can keep that Corvette in front of the Fords there, because the Corvette is a little bit really happy. A lot of people don't like to drive really happy cars in the wet, but I'm one of those people who does like to get it sideways. But yeah, Full On Rocks. Got a bad start, but managed to get around Jace there. But far out, I think Jace is probably kicking himself. He had Full On Rocks right at his sides. He was past him for a good couple of moments there.
Well, he got a good start, Jace, but well, despite all of that carnage so far on this opening lap, there's a familiar face in P1, and that is Formula One Rocks. Now 1.3 seconds. That gap has gone out very quickly, hasn't it? 1.4 now. He's streaking away from Jason in P2. Truss up to P3. And then the big winner, like you said, Rob, is Fubbles in P4 ahead of Waffles, Smokey, Andy, Nige. And HSV there, we saw him get involved in an incident at turn 1. He won't be happy with that. But there he is, Fubbles, ahead of Waffles there in P5. And we're getting a few requests to get that speedo up as well on the screen for all the live streams at home. Thank you. Timing impeccable once again, Rob. And have a look at the speeds here and just look at the spray as well. And if you're not Formula One Rocks, it's going to be very, very hard to see where you're going in these conditions, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, sitting behind a car in the spray is actually a very difficult thing. You'll see... if you get up close, I mean, it's just light conditions at the moment, so the circuit is wet, but it's not a disaster zone at the moment. When it gets a bit wetter, you'll see big rooster tails coming off the back of cars, and that's when it's really terrifying to sit behind somebody really, really close. You'll see people just ducking out of that spray, just seeing where they are and maybe lining up and maybe also cooling the car down, because even though it's wet conditions, you can really get the temperatures up when the car's just ingesting water from the front. So it'll be interesting to see. But Formula 1 Rocks 1.6 seconds ahead of Jason, and Truss sitting behind Jason there, looking to have a move. But I don't think he's going to do it yet. It's a bit dangerous at the moment. Just wait for that water to clear off, and hopefully that happens a bit sooner than later, because these boys really want to get racing.
Well, there's a few guys also, as you mentioned, no pressure on Formula 1 Rocks there at the front, Rob. I think I called him out in centre at the end of that qualifying session, but I tell you what, he's emulating the great man now. 2 seconds ahead in these wet conditions. How good is that? As Truss is all over the back of Jason there in these tricky conditions. The drivers just are going to have to be very careful indeed. We mentioned it is an interesting track, this one, as we ride now on bonnet cam with Truss. So it was Cartoon, I think, who made an early pit stop there, and Womp and Mighty Murph as well in the pits down in 14th. And it's not the end of the world though, Rob. I think we saw Michael Schumacher win this race back in 95 in the Benetton, of course, coming from 16th on the grid. So if you can keep your head down and stay out of trouble, anything's possible.
Yeah, anything's possible, certainly. And I mean, you've got Damon Hill winning in the, I think it was the Jordan, with Michael Schumacher's brother sitting behind him. I think it was 97, 98. You'd have to look that one up. But yeah, they won that one just because there was a big first lap incident that we had just then. I mean, theirs was a bit worse. There's tyres flying everywhere, but yeah, anyone can still win. But I think, I think Cardi, Wright, Womp and Mighty Murph are out of this one at the moment, unless something drastic happens, which I really doubt will happen. I mean, the top 5 guys are really clean, fair races, and I know they like to have a dive bomb or two, but they're going to make it stick. So there has to be something really drastic. Maybe a comet. Maybe we'll have another Chinese submarine pull up in a lake near somewhere and capture Truss again. I hope not, but it can always happen. But as I said, that spray, you can see the spray there. It's not too bad at the moment. I mean, you're going to sit in the cockpit, but well, actually, we'll show them what it's going to be like in the cockpit. It's not too bad at the moment. And we can see, wow, Truss has actually got a good run out of Eau Rouge there, or is it Bouillon? But yeah, he's getting really tucked up there. I reckon he might actually have a dive here, Trev.
I think that's Radion actually, Rob. But look at this. We've got all the camera angles covered here on the SRL live stream tonight, inside the cockpit of that Corvette, as up to Les Combes. I think that corner is called, and Jason under all sorts of pressure. He managed to just eat into that gap of about 1.8 seconds to Formula 1 Rocks, but he is starting to pull away in that Ford, as you can see on your screen. As Elijah on the live stream saying, did we lose anyone off the line? And speaking of offline, Jason just going wide there. And now that's kept keeping Truss very interested. I reckon he's going to have a go at him. They're side by side. He has a little bit of a cheeky look. I don't think he's going to get through there. But he's getting mighty, mighty close indeed. And, well, I tell you what, pressure is on now. It's just, well, you can tell there. You can see the gap on your screen. And all the while, Formula 1 Rocks is getting away out into the lead of this race. Lap 3 out of 22. So it's going to be interesting to see what sort of tyre strategy we see. Obviously, wet tyres for this race. As we take a look now at Smokey. He's close to Fubbles, who we said had a pretty good start. And now coming through turns 15 and 16 now. And heading along the long run towards the end of this lap. And I tell you what, look at those lap times at 2 minutes 32 for Formula 1 Rocks. Jason matching him with a 2:32.6 as well. But it's going to be interesting to see when are they going to pit. Obviously, a heavy fuel for this race as well. 80 litres for the Ford. Max fuel tank is 88 litres. Different for the Corvette though, Rob. 75 litres for the race. And you can see that that's indeed how much Smokey's got on board. But I tell you what, these Corvettes, they've got one behind, both of them behind the VB boys. They're getting very, very close, putting all sorts of pressure on them at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, as you can say, where there's smoke, there is fire, and certainly the rain hasn't dampened his spirits. There we go. We've got one for the live stream. That's pretty good. I'm going to give myself a pat on the back there. But yes, Smokey is very, very interested here. He's right on the back of Bubbles, and Bubbles is going to know that. But Bubbles doesn't like to move over. He's definitely going to defend with every inch he's got. But yeah, I mean, we're going through, just looking through timings here, and I think 1, 2, 8. There is not too much in between the gaps of each car, so it's going to be a very feisty race. And Nigel Guns actually pulled in a bit of a couple of seconds there off of Smokey there, so it might have been just a little bit of wheel spin. Nigel Guns just went through our rouge, really nice, got that speed off of it onto the Kemmel straight, and he's caught up a whole bit there, hasn't he there, Drew?
Yes, he is indeed. He's coming from a long way back. We saw plenty of carnage off the line. And Nige Guns there trying to go down the inside of Smokey, but you have to tread very, very carefully in these conditions. I know we've done a Murray Walker quote, but I think it's Martin Brundle. He says, you've got to drive like there's an egg under the accelerator pedal. Oh, so careful. And that's a very bad Martin Brundle impression there, but I'm sure it's keeping the fans entertained at home, listening to whatever we've got to say. Lap 4 out of 22, and look how
Guns
careful.
is on the back here.
Oh, very close. The Corvette. A bit of Corvette on Corvette action now, and this is the part of the track. You're going to be lining him up to have a go through Blanchimont. Don't you love these corner names here? And Big Alan Shep saying, where are the water skis? And I reckon we need them at the moment because that rain doesn't look like it's getting any lighter. Beautiful impersonation, says Connor Elliott. Thank you very much. Pleasure to have your company with us tonight. 13 people watching the stream, and it's going absolutely bananas there. But anyway, let's get back to the on-track action, and it's Nige Guns now. P7 looking to take P6 from Smokey, and indeed Fubbles. He's run a little bit wide there as he comes into the bus stop, what used to be called the bus stop chicane. I'm showing my age a little bit now, but it might be called
this part of the circuit
something
here,
else.
I think.
Yep, it used to be. I think there was another corner in there, wasn't there? I think from memory. But anyway, lap 4 now, heading into lap 5 out of 22 in this wet and soggy race here at Spa. And just recapping, Nige Guns into turn 1, tries to make a move, but he's not close enough.
I was going to say there, Smokey looked, his car doesn't seem like it has very much mechanical grip at the moment. The rear end of that car's stepping out when he's under pressure. It could be just him trying to get on the accelerator a bit too quick, but it just doesn't seem very comfortable. He's kind of going through Stavelot. You can see the rear end under the brakes, just wanted to overtake the front, and he's just going wider in the corners, but now he's got that pressure. He's lost that pressure from Nige Guns, and I mean that's going to help him a little bit just to get back to Bubbles here. Yeah, that's a bit of bad luck, but I think he's actually disappeared from the session. So we've got the Johnny Submarine with previous Prime Minister just waiting in the lake next to the circuit there, and I think they've just captured Nige Guns. So everybody's having some trouble here, Trev.
Yeah, they sure are. I tell you what, that's eased the pressure on Smokey in P6 and Fubbles as well. That Corvette is pretty strong in the middle sector and the braking zones at the two chicanes, meaning that they should be able to pass in the braking zones. But as you saw there, Nige Guns not getting the job done. And now he has disappeared off the timing screens. I reckon that Russian submarine is back again for another week. A bit of Harold Holt style again, because he has absolutely disappeared. He's done a truss, Rob. He's disappeared off our timing screens here. But I'm sure that he might be somewhere. I hope he's somewhere good as we watch Fubbles now in P5, just ahead of Smokey. There's not much in it, is there? You can put a piece of paper between those two. And I tell you what, these conditions now gives a chance for Waffles to break away a little bit there. 4 seconds further up the road in P4. Truss slotting in nicely to P3. Jason and Formula One Rocks, a.k.a. Ayrton Senna, just 6 seconds now ahead. So a second a lap, well, more than a second a lap, Rob. He's managed to get that gap out to. Amazing stuff.
Yeah, he's doing a good job here, and I think we're going to rip into Jace after. He was touting himself as the favourite in the wet. He did say he really likes the wet conditions, but he's dropping back from F1 really bloody quick. But Truss is keeping the pressure on Jace here, and that's a big issue for Jace, because he get that car big in his mirrors, and he just tends to drop back. He's more worried about the guy behind him than in front, which is a hard thing to do. Anybody can do it, but yeah, Full On Rocks is putting the times here, and he's looking pretty good for when the track dries up, if the track does dry up. Actually, the track is drying up, because off the Kemmel Straight, there a good half of it, there is no rooster tail, so that's going to be interesting. Maybe people might start thinking about a pit stop in the next four laps, just to get those slick tyres on as early as they can to get some speed out of the car.
Well, the conditions look to be drying out just a touch. Might not be dry enough yet for a change to the dry tyres, but you never know. Give it a few laps, and we might see that around lap 10, lap 11, so the midway point of this race. And just looking at those lap times as well, Rob, last time around, Formula 1 Rocks, Jono doing a 2:30 compared to Jace doing a 2:33, so nearly 2 to 3 seconds a lap quicker than Jason on that previous lap. Those previous fastest lap times, of course, tiny up a little bit now, 2:31, 2:32, so they're just matching each other's times perfectly. Formula 1 Rocks maintaining that gap at about 5.5 to 6 seconds. And, well, Mighty Murph, they're just saying any chance of a mid-race interview. I'm assuming he's done a Nige Guns and disappeared
He's absolutely pissed, bro.
Well, I reckon he'd be pretty pissed off, eh? And that's just prompting my Mighty Murph impression, which sounds a little bit like Martin Crowe, the ex-New Zealand cricket captain, who's no longer with us. And, well, look at that, Rick just saying, can you do a James Hunt impression? Well, I kind of can, Rick. You just got to sound nice and smooth. You look good, Nicky. Anyway, lap 6 out of 22.
Big balls.
Ah, yes. I tell you what, we've got to be careful.
Driving some Red Bull shit.
I don't know whether we can say that. Don't get me started on the Nicky Lauda impression. Anyway, lap 6 out of 22. Speaking of great rivalries, Hunt and Lauda. Jason, Wilkinson and Truss, they've got their own little battle happening here, and the gap is close once again. Lap 7 out of 22. Boy almighty, we're doing requests now, aren't we? That's a few people we've covered off on tonight. We haven't managed to offend any Belgian people. I think we offended the Japanese with our Japanese one-liners last week, and
yes,
the Americans the week before that. But we're not offending anyone so far tonight, apart from the Kiwis, Rob.
Oh, well, we can't offend Belgium. I mean, they're a place where Britain and Germany likes to have arguments, so we can't offend them. They've already got enough problems as it is. But, yeah, there we go. We've offended them, so we can add that to the list there, Trev.
Well, I tell you what, we're just, we don't miss anybody, do we, each and every week? Well, at least one good thing is we don't discriminate. We seem to offend every single country on the map, and there's a few more left in this season. Like we said, 11 rounds this season. I think we had 8 in season 1, 10 rounds in season 2, and then we just thought we'd expand. That TV rights deal came in, and we thought we'd expand it to 11 rounds, all finishing at the famous Mount Panorama circuit. Another enduro round, the same as this evening on the 7th of February, 24 laps. But enough about round 11. It's all about round 4 at the moment, and the 22 laps around this track, currently seeing the VB man, Jason Wilkinson, just ahead of Truss. This battle has been going for a few laps now, and look at that, there's another yellow car there, the Corvettes, and Fubbles currently still in P6 behind Smokey there.
No, Smokey's gotten past him there. Smokey was right behind Fubbles there for a very long time, so he's actually made the move. So he's going to be looking to increase that gap and try and get to Waffles. And Waffles actually is looking pretty good for this race. He's 11 seconds behind the leader, but we know how quick he is. I mean, when the track will dry out, he's the top person who's got to take a risk and maybe put the slicks on a little bit earlier than everybody else and see what he can do. But we've got the Tier 2 results coming through now here, Trev.
We certainly do, and in the Tier 2 results of this championship, it was Def Dude finishing in first, and John Dog in second, Thule in third, Compact in fourth, ahead of Heka Kosh in fifth. So a big thanks for those results. Def Dude in first, taking the victory there tonight in Tier 2. And let's take a look at some of the drivers who we probably haven't given a lot of airtime on the stream tonight. We like to get to everybody. Waffles there in P4, as you saw. And Andy currently in P7, 25 seconds off. Formula One Rocks in first place. Still not bad, though. He's chugging along okay there in P7. And V8 Man in P8. Haven't called his name too much tonight. But, well, he comes across the line now. And currently in P8, a fair way ahead of Kart Dude, who made that early pit stop, of course. And then it's Righty in P10, rounding out the points as we approach half distance in this race. And you've got to say, Rob, Kart Dude, he hasn't shown a great deal of pace tonight after his effort last week in Japan.
Yeah, I mean, he got caught out on that first lap incident, which is really, really sad, because he had the pace to probably be on pole tonight and get really close to a race win. So I feel sorry for our Taswegian mate there. I think he'll probably be going on the streets of Launceston tonight with and maybe dodging a couple of people with knives. But yeah, Cardi must be feeling really bad for himself there. I mean, he got gypped pretty much. He didn't deserve what happened. I think nobody deserves what happens on the first lap, but it does happen. And we've got Righty here, bloody Team VB, Jason's teammate, who also had that lot of pace. I mean, he started third in the from qualifying, and he got caught up in a first lap incident as well. We got Womp. And he's always quick in that Porsche, but he just doesn't seem to escape incidences from the last couple of rounds we've had, and which is really sad, because he's our official photographer for our league, and he deserves a good result. And unfortunately, he's just not going to get it tonight. But he's going to stick in there and maybe try and climb his way up through the field. He probably get a chance to go up to Righty and Cardi if they have an issue and claim some points. But yeah, I feel really sorry for Cardi, Righty and Womp there. They don't deserve those first lap incidences, but they've seemed to get caught up in them pretty often. But we got Jace here. I've just noticed on the timing screen that he's actually pulled a gap to Truss here, Trev. So maybe he's making his move up to Formula Rocks, and actually he is pulling in Formula Rocks by about a second this lap. So that's interesting to see there, Trev.
Exactly a second quicker on that last lap there, Jason. Like you mentioned, Rob, pulling away from Truss in P3. They were very close, weren't they, for the first part of this race. That gap now out to 3 seconds. And, well, Jace, they're just coming into his own there, as you see on your screen now. 7 seconds behind Formula One Rocks, currently still in P1. Then it's Truss in P3. Waffles in P4, 10 seconds ahead of Smokey. Fubbles in 6th, Andy in 7th, V8 Man in P8, Kart Dude all the way down there in P9, Righty ratting out the points finishes at the moment. And 11 runners left in this race, and we made mention of Womp too. We always like to mention Womp, the official SRL Project Cars 2 photographer. He's about 40-odd seconds off a point there in P10, but you never know. Wet conditions, if you just stick at it, you never know. Strange things can happen in races such as these. He could be on for a points finish. And currently looking at boy, tell you what, we mentioned that gap, Rob. He's currently pulling away at a very rapid rate of knots. He's currently lapping, like we said, a second quicker now. That gap, almost 4 seconds.
Yeah, and another interesting thing I saw from that timing sheet there, Trev, is that Kart Dude and Righty are actually quicker than V8 Man and Andy. Their fastest lap is about 3 seconds quicker than Andy and V8 Man, and they're about a second quicker every lap so far. So they might be right on their tailpipes at the end of this race. So that'll be might be a good chance to claw some points there, and be good for Cardi's and certainly Righty's championship as well. But yeah, Jason's taking off from Truss, and well, Truss is also catching Formula Rocks. He was about 11 seconds back last lap, and he's put in some time as well. So The big dark horse at the moment is Jace for Formula 1 Rocks. F1 Rocks is still in control of this race. He's driven absolutely superbly. He's coming up on lap traffic. I think that's Womp in his Porsche there. But Womp will definitely get out of his way and let him have the racing line. But yeah, I think the race is not over. It's almost halfway through. We can't do that famous Murray Walker quote just yet, but yeah, Formula 1 Rocks is still looking pretty good for this race, mate.
It's getting closer and closer. We love the old Murray Walker quotes, and so does everyone watching the live stream at home. Just a quick comment again on Tier 2. The 5th winner from 5 races in Tier 2. And Tooley has also scored 5 podiums in 5 races as well. Plenty of 5s there. And speaking of 5s, look at that 5th gear for Jono as Womp just getting out of the way there. And you know you're not having a good race when you get lapped at Spa in wet conditions. But I tell you what, I feel your pain, Womp. I've been there, brother, so just hang in there. As lap 10 out of 22. And Jason, I tell you what, he's just getting into that, he's cutting into that gap, isn't he? It's down to 5 seconds now. 5.7. It's going down all the time there. Back to 6 seconds now, but Formula 1 Rocks just controlling the pace in this race. But it's getting closer.
I can hear on the downshift there and on the upshift he's actually having a bit of wheel spin, so I think Formula 1 Rocks is actually suffering from tyre wear, and that can happen at the start of the race. You know, you got to push these tyres as hard as you can, especially in the first few laps, and being wet tyres, they don't like it too much, and Jason has just sat back and looked after his tyres and had a battle with Truss, and now he's pulling away and he's catching Formula 1 Rocks now, so that's going to be interesting around about pit stop time there, Trev.
Well, he can see Formula 1. Actually, no, I beg your pardon. I think that's Womp down in P11. Yeah. I was getting a little bit excited there. Womp, of course, is currently lapped. Womp, there it is. Oh, Rob, I tell you what, you're a terrible man, let me tell you. But Jace, well, he want to get past. I'll give full credit to you. You started that one, Rob. I just managed to finish that one off. But he'll want to clear Womp, and I reckon he's going to come up to him at a very generous spot on this track, the long final sector, the run down to the bus stop chicane, and Wilco flashing his lights there. And, well, he just needs to stay calm, cool and collected, and just get past Womp. Like we said, currently in P11, not involved in this race whatsoever. But he doesn't want to hold him up too much. That gap now 6.5 seconds. And, well, it was about 8 or 9 seconds, but now it's down to 6. And Jace there almost outbraking himself into the last chicane. And that gives him, and look at that, Womp just almost completely removing himself.
Nice. I think he actually moved off this racing line completely. That's actually very, very nice of him to do that, and it's a very respectful thing to do as well. It's nice when people just get out of the way when they're being late. But I did notice there, Trev, that Fubbles has dropped down to P9 from P6, so I wonder if he's had a spin there, Trev.
Well, he might have indeed. I don't think we caught that on the stream here tonight, but there could have been an incident there. And, well, it's an interesting race. We're in for a ripping last dozen or so laps, aren't we, here tonight? And Fubbles, well, he's gone right down the field, hasn't he? And he's looks a bit slow there.
He's having some troubles there. Yeah, he's having some troubles there, and I wonder what's actually happening there. He's, of course, using a controller, which can be a little bit harder in wet conditions, but he might have just absolutely destroyed those tyres. You can see the rear end just stepping out everywhere, but Formula 1 Rocks is on the 11th lap. You know what that means, Trev?
Half the race gone, half still to go. Yes, that's right, Rob. I tell you what, you just laid that out absolutely perfectly there. Right on cue, lap 11 out of 22 here in Belgium. And Neil on the live stream, he says he's looking forward to the last 12 laps as well. Good to get live feedback too, isn't it, here as well? He said some updates on the race would be good. And as his fan favourite Truss made a pit stop. And did he avoid those first corner shenanigans? Boy, that is a long message, but keep them coming, Neil. And he did subscribe last week too, so fantastic stuff. Don't forget, everyone watching, make sure you subscribe as well for every Thursday action on the Kid Buyers YouTube channel. But, well, a full race update, well, we'll give him one. Why not, hey, Rob? Formula 1 Rocks leading from Jason in P2. Then it's your man, Neil. Your man in P3, 9 seconds off the lead. Ahead of Waffles here in P4. Then it's Smokey And he was a bit of a smoky last week, but currently in P5. Then it's Andy in P6. Ahead of, well, he's made 7th his own, hasn't he, so far this season? V8 man currently in P7. Ahead of Righty, who might have got in. Of course, we saw he did get involved in those first lap shenanigans, Rob. Currently down in P8. So currently on the comeback trail. Ahead of Fubbles, who we saw going very slowly there a lap or so ago. He is a pad user, of course, so he might, who knows, maybe the R2 and L2 buttons are stuck or something, but I'm sure he'll be thrashing away on the controller there, and it's Can't Dude in P10, who's done a bit of a Harold Holt and disappeared from the action down there in P10, ahead of Womp in P11. 10 laps to go. It's set up to be a great finish here, Rob.
Yeah, Jason's pulled another second off of Formula 1 Rocks there, so that's going to be pretty interesting. Yeah, Formula 1 Rocks must have eaten these tyres there, but there's not much spray coming from that car. I mean, it does look like that's a lot, but trust me, that's a lot better from the start of the race, and you can see no spray at all. So that rain is clearing. You can see on the monitor that rain is actually just spitting at the moment. So we will be expecting some pit stops in about 5 laps time, I reckon, Trev.
Yes, so... Sorry, Rob?
No, I was going to say, when I think the Chinese submarine must have taken you as well, because you went silent there for a couple seconds, mate.
Well, I tell you what, it's apart from losing my voice a couple of weeks ago, there's not many times you'll get silence out of me. But anyway, so here comes Wilco again, and just those results, like we said, the Tier 2 results coming in. It was just recapping those, of course. Def Dude in first, John Dog in second, Tooley third, Compact fourth, and Heka Kosh was in fifth. And I reckon this circuit's drying out now. Have a look at that. I reckon some parts still a bit damp, but that rain has eased off a fair bit. And that gap is easing off as well to P1, 5 seconds. And, well, I tell you what, when are they going to make their stops? I don't think Truss has made a stop for Neil, who left a comment previously on the stream.
It's still pretty shiny on the circuit here, Trev, but they might be able to get away with the slick tyres if the track's starting to warm up. We've seen previously, from previous experience, you put those slick tyres on when the track's heating up, and you can actually get some decent pace out of them when it's still a little bit shiny like this. But I mean, it's going to be backwards and forwards if you want to stop now or a little bit later on to put the slick tyres on, or maybe some people might take the gamble and leave the wet tyres on until at the absolute last moment until that track dries out, Trev.
Well, that is the question we ask ourselves every week with pit stop strategy, and well, we talk about pit stop strategy. I tell you what, that's a bit of a funny pit lane here, isn't it? You haven't got much room to move in there, but here comes Jason from P2 into the pits now, slowing down to just 60 kilometres. First gear coming into the pits, and the pit stops hit. Oh, is he going to change tyres?
No, he isn't. I think it's just a stop.
So a pit stop here, about 55 seconds, but Rob, that is if you're changing from wet to dries, and like you said, it's possibly a little bit too early to be doing that at the moment.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit too early at the moment. There will be some guys that are mad enough to do it, but Jace is the first one to jump in those pits, and he'll be coming out in some clear air there, so that might be a good move early on. I mean, it is a mandatory pit stop, so that's good to get that out of the way, but it could be a mistake if the track really dries out in the next couple of laps, which it could. It is Spa, so we don't want to do the old commentator's curse on Jace there, but that's a risky move. But he is 6 seconds behind Smokey, so he's got a little bit of clear air between he and Smokey, so he can just bang out some lap times. And he's gone, taking the quick line around there, just cutting Rouge a little bit. But yeah, it's a bit of a risky decision, but you got to risk it for the biscuit there, Trev.
Yes, and it's not one of the quicker stops here either at Spa. That pit lane speed limit starting at the entrance to the pit lane, not F1 style at the top of the pit lane hill, but anyway, never mind. So Jason, he's made the call. He's decided to come in and make a stop, and I reckon, geez, we mentioned that track still very damp in places. This is Spa, like you said, Rob, very long circuit, but still, has he made the right decision there, Jace? Only time will tell. Formula 1 Rocks and a few other guys, Truss with him, staying out on the track. The gap 12 seconds now. And we just, it's going to be interesting if you, apparently if you pit before lap 15, those hard tyres would probably be the best bet. However, obviously with wet conditions, they're going to be sticking to the wets. But
it's dried
just
out around this part of the circuit here, Trev, and Sector 1, Sector 3, it's dried out quite a lot there, so I reckon Jason might have made the wrong decision there, so sorry to interrupt you, mate.
No, we just, well, I've mentioned Michael Schumacher once or twice tonight, but we saw that back in, oh, here comes Truss. I'll get back to my nostalgic Formula 1 story a little bit later on as Truss comes into the pit lane now from P2. So following Jason's lead, we mentioned that speed limiter down to 60 kilometres starting very early in this pit lane. So the chances are you're going to lose about 55 seconds to a minute here, all going well, if you make a pit stop in this race. And he's still going into the pits. There we go, his pit crew now. And tyres, are they coming off or coming on, Rob?
No,
we have a few.
not.
No. And Waffles as well into the pits.
Waffles has come in as well.
So he's come in from P4, and meanwhile, you know the drill. You watch the track, I'll watch the pit lane. As Jason comes across now to complete lap 13 into lap 14 of this race, and we've got a couple of guys, V8 man as well, currently in the pits as Jason comes through turn 1, and I reckon he's got him here. I reckon he's out, and well, the undercut may have worked here at Spa tonight. And Jason up into P3. And Rob, I tell you what, there we go. We can see Jason there coming through Eau Rouge, 5th gear, up into 6th. He comes across the top of the hill through Radion and down the main straight at Eau Rouge, Radion, whatever you want to call it. Be my guest, but he's got out ahead of Truss. So that early pit stop at the moment seems to have worked for Jace.
Yeah, it seems to work for Jace, but I think maybe Formula 1 is actually counting on the track to dry out a bit. And I mean, there is no rooster tails through the last part of Sector 2 going into Sector 3. So this is a very interesting approach, and I don't know if we can see the pit stops take place. I don't know if we can see the tyres taking place, but certainly there were people just stopping in their pit box. So they won't need fuel to get around here. We know the Ford is a little bit more thirsty than the Corvette, but certainly no fuel going into these cars at the moment, Trev.
Well, stop everything, because I tell you what, a little birdie has just mentioned to me that Kart Dude, look at that previous lap Kart Dude as we see Formula 1 rocks. Oh, he's crashed!
Oh, he's
crashed at the pit lane entry. Oh my goodness, David Coulthard, Shades of Adelaide, back a few years ago when he crashed out of the lead of the race into the pit lane. We'll get back to Kart Dude in a moment. He just set a 222, I beg your pardon. Currently down there in P7. He's absolutely flying. Thank you for pointing that out. But, well, Formula 1 rocks there. He's a fair way ahead of P2, but that's not going to help him at all, Rob.
No, it's not going to help him at all, and that's he's probably put a little bit of damage on the front of his car there, so he might have to do a repair stop. But Jason is looking really, really good here. He's Formula 1 Rocks is still in the pit lane. He's still stopped, so Jason's actually going to pass him here. This is going to be absolutely interesting. We know how quick Formula 1 Rocks is, so he's going to be on the pace as soon as he gets out of that pit lane. And I can hear Formula 1 Rocks coming out of the pit box. This is, I think, yeah, Jason's got him pretty comfortably there, but. Yeah, that little mistake can be absolutely costly for Formula 1 Rocks there, Trev.
And Jason goes into a net P1. Smokey.
And Waffles has jumped him as well.
And Waffles.
So
Waffles and Bits and Truss have, they've all got ahead of Formula 1 Rocks. My goodness, what drama here at Spa. It was all looking so perfect, just business as usual for Jono here tonight. He had 4 wins from 4. But now he is, I tell you what, I wouldn't count him out if I were you, but currently down in P5. He's not far off.
6 seconds between he and the provisional leader, Jason, there. We got Smokey at the front still, but yeah, Jason and the gap between Jason and Formula 1 Rocks is 5 seconds now. Sorry, 4 seconds. So he's actually taken a bit out here.
So it's going to be an absolutely incredible finish to this race. Just 7 laps to go. And, well, we're going to say Jason's in the lead because he's 11 seconds off Smokey, but Smokey yet to make a stop. And another question on the live stream, did Truss change tyres during his pit stop? I don't think he did. I'm not
Well,
sure.
The problem is we can't bring up that on the telemetry. We can only have the speedo, which is a bit sad. I remember in the old Project Cars 1's days that you could see what tyres people were on. But yeah, I think there's a good chance that maybe Jason jumped on those slick tyres because he was actually setting pretty quick times there for a while. But Waffles is right on the back of Jason. I don't know if Waffles has actually pitted yet, but yeah, Waffles is all over the back of Jason Wilkinson here, mate.
Look at that. This is amazing stuff. Look at that. Waffles on board now with Waffles. He's so close. There's nothing between him and Jason. And look at that. P2 and P3. Effectively the battle for P1 in this race. And look at that. Is he going to have a go down to the bus stop chicane there? They're very close. Oh, Jason.
Made a mistake.
He's made a mistake. And now they're side by side. The two Fords. And he's through. Waffles makes the move. Heading
There's a big
into
puddle there.
the chicane. And there was a puddle there. And I reckon that might have... I wonder if Jason might have hit that. But anyway, so up into P2 goes Waffles and Bits. Just 6 laps remaining in this race. So Jason down to P3 now. And he's going to have all sorts of company. And now Truss.
Formula Rocks has passed Truss. He's on the back of a...
Formula One.
Right.
It's
That's Jason and Formula Rocks. Oh my God.
It's all happening here. My goodness, look at this. Oh, second, third, fourth and fifth all together there on your screen as we come up the hill to Eau Rouge. You want to be careful there, Jason. You might get corner cutting
I
warning.
think he's got a penalty there.
And
yeah,
I reckon
you can see he's dropping back.
He might have a penalty there, a slow down penalty here, but look at that. All
Truss
together.
Is having a look. What is Truss going to do? Yeah, he's done the right thing there, actually. He's on the back of Jason. He's given him a tap. That gives give me flashbacks of the other day when I actually hit my mate when he first got his P's. My car has a big dent in it now. But Formula Rocks has passed Jason. He's hunting Waffles there, so this is absolutely pandemonium, as wild as you ever see in Australian motorsport.
How good is this? This is why we love it, and this is why we love... doing this live stream each and every week. 18 people watching the stream now. Everybody get your comments in. Unbelievable. We get it every single week. And never a dull moment. When we think we're going to have a boring race, Rob, something always crops up and happens. But it's Waffle. I tell you, he's getting very close to Smokey there too, like we said, who's just out the front. Bit of a token sort of... he's got the lead now, Smokey, but it's a bit of a token effort, though, because, geez, I tell you what, he's slowing down there, Waffles. I don't reckon it's going to be too long before he takes the lead here tonight.
Yeah, I think Smokey's got the wet tyres on, so those tyres have overheated and they're just absolutely tearing themselves apart. So Smokey hasn't actually stopped yet, so that's going to be interesting to see where he's going to pop out. Probably around about Card Dude, so Card Dude might be inheriting a position in a minute, but Card is absolutely setting blistering lap times. He's actually quicker than the top 4, which is just mind-boggling. So if he didn't have the incident on the first lap, he would have been probably leading and winning this race, Trev.
So Cart Dude, like we mentioned, he got involved in an incident earlier in this race, but look at that last time around at 2:17, and Smokey, he's trying to come into the pits. And we mentioned we might have missed a trick, as you mentioned, Rob. They're not changing earlier onto the dry tyres. And he's coming in now. So Formula One rocks up to P2, and it's Waffles there. The gap, 1.9 seconds between those two, Waffles and Formula One rocks. The two Fords there ahead of Jason, who's dropped back a little bit, 4 seconds. Truss further behind him. But this battle, Formula One rocks. You can never keep this man down, can you? We've been mentioning it, the perfect record, the perfect start to this season. And I reckon Cart Dude might be feeling hard done by there, like we mentioned, Rob. He's setting blistering times of 2:17 and a half on that last lap. So who knows what he could have done if he wasn't involved in that incident. As the track drying out now here at Spa, 5 laps to the end. We're all set up for a grandstand finish.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those finishes, and actually Waffles is still keeping his gap there to Formula One Rocks. So Formula One Rocks seems to be having a bit of an aero wash there off the back of Waffles' car. We know how good a racer Waffles is. I know how good a racer he is from personal experience from racing with him in our league this year. He's a very tough competitor. He doesn't want to give an inch, but he's a very fair racer. So Formula One Rocks is looking to get close to him, but I don't think he's going to have enough time with the bit pace he's got in that car there, Trev.
It's going to be interesting indeed. The countdown is on. And every single week we get drama. That's what we love about this championship. And Neil just, I'll tell you what, he's up and about on the comments. Neil Haynes. And he just says, we sound, Rob, you sound a lot better tonight. And boy, no wonder with this sort of action going on. Lap 17 out of 22. Waffles now. That gap staying very steady indeed. He was fractionally quicker than Formula One Rocks on that last lap by about a tenth of a second. And Cartu now up to P6, 9 seconds off of V8 Man at that pace. He could get V8 Man by the end of this race, although they were matching each other on that last lap. As Righty there saying, sorry boys for the first lap drama. That's okay. We've still got plenty of drama at the front. And those lap times now, Rob, starting to tumble. Formula One Rocks a 2 minute 15.8 that last time around.
Yeah, he's taken about 5 tenths out of Waffles there on that lap. So maybe I was wrong. I think he might have enough pace after all. Maybe he was just trying to find a little bit of confidence on those slick tyres. It's really, really, really hard to go from wets to slicks and be immediately quick sometimes. You just don't have the confidence. You're just driving like it's a wet car, but you got all the grip in the world, which is just very confusing after you've done about 17 laps on wet tyres, just slipping and sliding around. But yeah, Formula One Rocks is certainly catching. He's gained 2 tenths off the Kemmel Straight there behind Waffles, so Waffles is going to have to do some defending soon and just make sure that he's got enough gap between he and Formula One Rocks so he doesn't go for that dive or try and pass him. But yeah, Waffles' car is looking pretty stable, but Formula One Rocks' car just always looks very, very pointy. He's the type of guy who wants to have that car pointy, just get the car into the corner as early as he can and just hope and pray it goes around. But he's very good at it, and he hasn't had a major incident apart from the entering the pit lane tonight. So yeah, Formula One Rocks is looking pretty good here, but Waffles is in the lead. He's coming off in lap traffic. I do think, gee, who was that? I think that might be, yeah, that's Righty. Righty's just getting out of the way there, hitting some cones. He shouldn't be doing that on a live stream. That's a bit illegal in Australia, but yeah, Formula One Rocks is looking pretty good here, and yeah, he's about he's pulled another 2 tenths on Waffles, so Waffles is bleeding time to Formula One Rocks here, Trev.
It's down to half a second as the sun begins to shine here at Spa. And it's shining on Formula One Rocks as well. I don't reckon that lap traffic helped Righty too much there. And you mentioned, Rob, hitting those cones on a Thursday night in Australia, just not what you want to be doing, that's for sure. But coming through this last chicane, the bust-up chicane,
Waffles.
Gone
into the puddle.
He's gone into that infamous puddle. And now Formula One Rocks the crisscross move. He goes down the inside and takes the lead across the line, back where he is used to, back into P1, back into that familiar P1 this season. Well, he might have had that incident coming into the pit lane, Rob, but he is back. And boy, he is back into P1. And with 3 laps to go, it's going to be hard to see anybody stop Jono from making it 5 out of 5 so far this season.
Yeah, I think Jason's getting that trophy ready for Jono at this point, because this is almost halfway through the season and he's almost got it wrapped up at this point, which is a bit of a shame, but he's given us a lot of action, especially from last week and tonight. But yeah, Jason's actually bleeding time to Truss here. Just looking at the timing charts, Truss is gaining a couple tenths each lap, so let's see if he can make a move on Jason. We know how quick Truss's Corvette is in a straight line, and that's going to be half Jason to defend going down into the chicane. But yeah, Formula One Rocks is just looking like the complete package this season, isn't he?
Yes, he's looking, I dare I say it, but he's looking a bit unbeatable at the moment. He can win from any situation. We saw a couple of races ago, he started, well, from P10, didn't he, on the grid? Might have even been the last race, but he still managed to win the race, so he's a miracle man. He can win from anywhere. As we take a look at Cartu now, a bit of damage on that Corvette, but currently in P6. And that gap was about 10 or so seconds, wasn't it, to V8 Man in P5, who does have a penalty as well. But I reckon that with 3 laps to go until the end of this one, he's going to catch V8 Man. I don't think he's going to catch Truss in 4th, who's about 24 seconds ahead of this battle here tonight. And Rick Elliott, your good friend Rob, I don't know about good friend. He says Rob's hit a few cones in his time. Can we say that? I don't think it's 9:30 yet, but anyway, we'll just try and keep it.
9:30 yet.
I don't think it's...
He's letting the information leak out. I'm going to have to go around there and have a couple of words, but no. It's funny when your best friend, my mate Connor, I'm more friends with his father now, so take that, Connor. But Cart Dude is looking pretty feisty on the back of the 8-man here. I think he's just dropped back a little bit, which is a bit unfortunate, but we know how quick Cart he is, and he can really hustle a car around. But Formula Rocks is actually back behind Waffles, Trev.
Yes, we've missed it, but Formula Well, I tell you what, I reckon I called the race off there last lap. I said Formula One Rocks was home and hosed, and he had this one wrapped up as there's a Porsche facing the wrong way there, heading up Eau Rouge, but never mind about that. I think that's Womp there just off the side of the circuit. Have a look at this. He's lost the lead. Now he wants it back. Formula One Rocks down the straight. And the slipstream effect can get you an extra 7 to 10 kilometres there. You can see on the
dive. You can see Waffles turning, moving on the right-hand side. They're just covering off the line. Waffles is going to be a little bit deep.
And he spun!
Waffles turned around!
He spun! And there's contact! This is incredible. They're both sitting there at Lake Com, and there's another car involved as well with Formula One Rocks.
Jason Wilkinson coming through the field.
And Jason Wilkinson says, "Don't forget about me." Hilarious stuff. This is incredible. Unbelievable. Formula One Rocks and Waffles. Oh, they were ahead by about 8 or 9 seconds, and now Jason is back in the action as well. He thought, well, that's my night done. I'll be happy with 3rd place. But now he's still fighting for the win, Rob. Amazing stuff.
Yeah, amazing stuff. I mean, Formula Rocks might have actually a bit of damage there. He did, I mean, even a little tap can throw the aero on the front of the car off it by a couple points there, so they'll be interested to see what he can do. I mean, this is a very high downforce circuit, very high. We got Truss here, who just made a bit of a move on Jason, but Jason's held him off there. So Jason has got more to worry about than looking at the lead. He's trying to keep in the points, main points positions here. But yeah, Waffles is looking okay. The gap hasn't extended too much. The Formula One Rocks there after the incident, so Waffles is going to be in the slipstream of Formula One Rocks and see what he can do. But yeah, Jason's got that big handful of the yellow Corvette of Trust behind him, and that's going to be absolutely interesting because Trust has the speed and the straights with the Corvette, and it's going to be interesting to see if he can make the move on the inside here, Trev.
Well, we've got to remember, Jace, he's had trouble there with that puddle coming into this corner. There's still wet parts of the track.
Oh, he's gone off the circuit.
Just as I talk about that puddle, he's gone off at the last. Well, I tell you what, that looked a little bit Max Verstappen to me, that last corner, but I reckon he might know that too, Jay. So I reckon he's just eased off a little bit there to let Trust through now up into 3rd place. And boy, I reckon he'd be wanting that position back, Jace. Otherwise, it's going to be a very long night in the Wilkinson household down there, down Melbourne town. But lap 21, penultimate lap of this race. It's Formula One Rocks now with a 2.3 second gap over Waffles in P2. But like we've seen already in this race, that's no guarantee. A second ahead of Truss in 3rd on your screen in the Corvette. You can see that 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th all together in your picture. Just separated by 3.5 seconds, Rob, counting down to the end of this race.
I was just going to say, when we were riding aboard with Truss there behind Waffles going into the bus stop chicane, I can see Waffles actually going a bit deep into the braking zone and hitting that puddle. He got away with it, but he's dropped back 2 seconds. So I think we might be able to say categorically that Formula Rocks probably has the race here, but it's never over. And we got and actually Waffles is actually dropping back to Truss now, so Truss might be actually able to pick up another position. A position here, so a bit of bad luck between. Oh, there's a phone call there. That's all right. Whoever's mother that is, I'm sorry about last night. It's not usually that bad, but yeah, Waffles made a mistake, and he's actually falling back to Truss there.
Well, he's falling back into the clutches of Truss, and I reckon that phone call might have been it might have been Jono actually just making a phone call, just telling the man whoever's doing the podium celebrations to just get ready with the champagne, because he's only a lap and a half away now. About 10 or 11 kilometres from the finish line, and boy, will he be glad to see that one at the end of this race, that checkered flag. And he's gone a 2-minute 26.6 there last time around, and that of course
Rocks has disappeared. And he's got internet issues, so Waffles actually has inherited first there, Trev.
So just as we're talking about getting the champagne out, it's never over What a weird race. We've talked about aliens, we've talked about Russian submarines, and Waffles now is in front. That's right, don't adjust your screens. Waffles is leading this race, the last lap. Well, to finish first you've got to finish, and it was Truss last week with his internet connection issues. He's currently in P2. And, Connor Elliott saying, the submarine is back, Rob. What is going on here tonight? And Formula One Rocks has disappeared. We're down to 9 runners. Womp, you're still in with the show there, son. You're currently on 2 points tonight in P9. We said hang in there and you're going to get a result at the end. But the last lap of this race, let's just take a breath and recap. It's Waffles in P1 ahead of Truss in P2. And that gap is coming down, isn't it? 1.3, 1.2 seconds. Half a lap to go. Jason in P3 and V8 Man further behind him, but it's all about this top 3 battle. 2 seconds separating first, second and third, all in your picture as we come around this beautiful circuit for the last time. What a race. Formula One Rocks is going to lose that record. It's not going to be 5 out of 5 tonight, and he still might have a healthy championship lead, but how tragic is that for Jono? And he puts all that practice in, all that hard work, but that is what online racing is all about. We've all been there. We've all been sitting pretty, looking rather nice for a win. Maybe not myself, but anyway, here comes Waffles. Enough about me. So Waffles, Truss and Jason, anybody can win this race. That's right. As we come around the last few corners now, it's going to be interesting to see whether I reckon Waffles has got this one now, but we said that about Formula One Rocks several times tonight, Rob. It's not over until it's over.
Yeah, it's not over till it's over, and I think there's a healthy gap between them. I wouldn't say it's a comfortable gap, but it's a gap definitely. Hopefully it doesn't go deep into the chicane here, but when these guys cross the line, I think we might have a spicy battle of V8 Man and Kart Dude, so hopefully that's going to give us some entertainment on the last couple of corners. But yeah, Waffles is easier one going through the bus stop chicane. He's come away with the win, and yeah, he's driven very well tonight. And we got Waffles, Truss, and our mate Jay. So Big Alan Shep is going to be pretty happy tonight. Maybe should have come away with the win after having that little incident there. But yeah, we got V8 Man and Kart Dude. And Kart Dude is all over the back of V8 Man. It's absolute pandemonium going into the bus stop chicane. Let's see if anybody can get the best run. But I think it's safe to say that V8 Man is going to have this.
I reckon V8 Man's got him there across the line. Oh, Kart Dude. And indeed, with that penalty, he has gone up to P4 in the final standings. As we take a look at Smokey now in the Corvette, a bit further back in P6. Coming around up to the last corner now. And his debut race last week, P6 for him this week. As he runs a little bit deep. Gee, that's caught a lot of people out tonight, that final chicane. But he comes across the line. Race complete. You can see it there on your screen. For everybody watching at home, and plenty of positive comments coming through the live stream as well tonight. And Fubbles, who had plenty of incidents throughout the race, he'll be coming home in P7. And just recapping there, it was Waffles winning. Well, we said we'd have carnage at the start of this race, and that was a long time ago, but we weren't disappointed. We've had carnage, we've had some rather weird incidents, haven't we, tonight? Drivers facing the wrong way and indeed running into each other. We had it from lap 1. And here we go across the line. Let's see Fubbles home. Our pad man going at it R2 and L2 style there. And he comes across the line to finish in P7. And Andy as well.
There for Fubbles there, actually, Trev. He was running as high as 4th early on the race, and then he had an incident. He dropped back to, I think, 8th, but he's inherited 7th due to Formula One Rocks' crap in it. But yeah, Andy here on the screen. A bit of a lonely race for the old boy, isn't it there, Trev?
Well, it's a very lonely race for Andy there. He probably got a bit bored during this race, but P8 for him. And Womp, they're just 9 finishes in this race. And F1 Rocks, though, denied a win here tonight. Jason just saying he went on the hard tyres and he didn't get much heat in those at all. But there are the final results on your screen for the race tonight. Waffles and Bits taking a win here at a crazy race here in Belgium. 1.3 seconds in the end ahead of Truss in P2. And Jason Wilkinson on the podium yet again here tonight, ahead of Cart Dude, who was 26 seconds further down the road. And who knows what could have been for Cart Dude if he didn't have that incident earlier on in the race. V8 Man in 5th. Those two having a good old ding-dong battle in the final stages of this one, ahead of Smokey in 6th, Fubbles in 7th, Andy in 8th, Womp in P9, and the rest, well, they didn't quite make it to the finish line, but what a crazy race. We always see it here in Belgium, and the weather plays a role. But absolute carnage here tonight, Rob.
Yeah, it was a weird race, but it's usually a pretty weird race going around Spa. I mean, I've never been involved in a race that's never shaped out the way you would think of it's going to shape out. But yeah, bad luck from Formula 1 Rocks there, but I think he's still got a pretty healthy championship lead there. But that's what happens when you race online. You can just drop out at any second. But yeah, I think Cardi's going to be pretty happy with that result. He dropped back to, I think, about 10th on that first lap incident and worked his way up to 4th, so that's brilliant. And Waffles and Bits, I mean, he must be absolutely chuffed with himself tonight, I reckon, Trev.
I reckon he will be a very, very happy man indeed. And, well, I mean, where do you start? So much going on in those 22 laps. The endurance race tonight, the drivers, just the concentration required there. If you look at that, 54 minutes, so almost an hour's racing in very difficult conditions, to say the least, here tonight. But Waffles, like you said, Rob, would be mighty happy with that effort tonight. Truss, the boy who's made his way up from Tier 2 up to Tier 1, getting P2, a good result for him. And Jason, like we mentioned, taking another podium as well. And, well, we might get our top 3. We'll try and invite them into the party chat so we can have a chat with them, and everyone at home can just listen to, well, I guess a first-hand account of what happened in that race. But I reckon Wilco always likes a good party chat, Rob. He might be one of the first into the party. He's already in. Look at that.
Loves his exposure, old Jason Wilkinson, doesn't he there, Trev?
Speak of the devil, you can just tell by his PSN name, just some shameless promotion there. But we might go with our winner first of all. Just remembering for all you boys there joining the party, just make sure that your voice can be shared for everyone watching at home. But Waffles, have we got you there, mate?
Yeah, I'm here.
And
I don't know if I'll get you on the stream, but it should be shared.
Yep. Well, we can hear what you're saying, mate, and if no one else can, we can translate for you, mate. But what a win tonight, mate. You had, well, where do we start, mate? Talk us through that race. You had incidents, you had rain, it was all happening for you.
Yeah, started 11th and watched carnage ensue into turn 1. I managed to just weave through it. And yeah, just struggled a little bit on the wet pace, and then come out and dries, I'm just like magically quicker than everyone. So I'll take it. Just feel sorry for F1 Rocks. He was at least half a second a lap quicker and disconnected.
Yeah, we saw you had that spin coming up off the Camel straight into that chicane there.
Yeah.
What happened there, mate?
I was copying my teammate. He said that he spun, and then I was just a bit too shallow because I was defending and I spun.
Well, fantastic stuff, mate. We're getting tell you what, just some sharp stuff on the live stream comments. We've got someone saying, Neil saying waffles and Belgian chocolate. They both go very, very well together, don't they? Boy, how sharp is that? Some of Neil's best work. But what was going through your mind, mate, on that last lap? We saw that strange incident at Laycom after the main straight, where you and Formula 1 Rocks were sort of sitting stationary there at one point, and that got Jason interested.
We kind of got a little bit stuck on each other. After I spun, he had nowhere to go, and then we just got stuck on each other. He was trying to push me out the way, and it just wouldn't detach us.
So the old... It was a bit of a bug in the first game, I think, wasn't it, when both cars can sort of get locked into each other. But no, fantastic stuff, mate. Congratulations on winning a crazy race here tonight, and all the best for next week as well.
Thank you.
And, well, fantastic stuff. Waffles there. Waffles and the Belgian chocolate working nicely as we head along to Truss, our man in P2 tonight. Truss, are you there, mate?
Yeah, mate.
Well, mate, talk us through that. Current P2 in the end. Are you happy with that, or do you reckon you could have done better tonight?
Oh, it would have to be better than last week. That's for sure. Nah, my car wasn't right, eh? I had, 20 minutes after getting home from work and, trying to find a wet setup, basically. So, yeah, just threw something together and just hoped it worked. But I was keeping up with Jace there for a bit at the start, but then it sort of went off a little, and I thought, if I stay close enough to him and once I get me hard tyres, yeah, I'll be right then. So they took probably three laps to come in, those hards. So, yeah, it's just waiting for that water to go out of the way.
And how do you handle those changing conditions as well, Truss? A wet to dry race, it's very tricky, isn't it, to sort of concentrate and be able to stay out of trouble for the duration of those 22 laps?
Yeah, for sure. You've got to find that dry line. Like, I sort of struggled on a few of the parts of the track to find that dry line. Once hit hards, and then, yeah, sort of once that water went, yeah, it was pretty good. So, yeah, it makes it difficult going from the wet to the dry, for sure.
Well, mate, you did fantastically well tonight. P2, congratulations, mate. Like you said, better than last week, and who knows, hopefully you can continue that good form heading into Donington Park next week.
Too easy. Thanks, mate.
And Neil there. Thank you to Neil for he's a big fan of Truss. You're the man, Truss, he says. As we welcome Jason Wilkinson, lucky last. Well, not lucky last. We've just saved the best till last, you might say. P3 for you, Wilco. Another P3. Another trophy for the cabinet there, and another frothy for Big Alan Shep, mate. Talk us through your race.
Yeah, well, start off with quali. I thought I was in the box seat then. Me and Righty were... we didn't actually even get to slipstream each other, so we had a little bit of time left, but that gap between F1 Rocks and me was too close. But yeah, that track at the start there was the wettest it's been in the 5 or 6 sessions of...
And he's gone.
I don't know what happened behind me, but a lot of carnage by the sounds of it. There's people leaving chats and having cries and sooks and I don't know. But yeah, I had a really good battle with Truss. It was just struggling, so I was just trying to keep it on track. So I was probably holding him up a fair bit, but we had a clean battle. I don't think I blocked him too hard. And then, yeah, I thought I'd go for the gamble and pit a little bit early, and I should have gone on the soft tyres, but those hards just didn't switch on, and yeah, it cost me. You can see Waffles and F1 Rocks and Truss. Well, Truss didn't actually, but they all drove past me, and yeah, then they started coming up towards the end, but it was all over then. Jono, F1 Rocks again, disconnected from a win. Yeah, you can't really say anything, can you?
Well, I tell you what, very unlucky tonight, but congratulations, mate, and thank you for that comprehensive wrap-up there, Rob. I tell you what, I don't reckon he didn't miss any details there, did he?
Actually,
boy, if anyone's just tuning in,
out of him tonight there too. I'll have to take the piss out of him. Jason, you in the chat there, you said you were favourite in the wet conditions. What happened, buddy?
Big head.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I said it was just really, really slippery. I went for a dry setup to try and be quick at the end, so starting on the wet setup would have been more comfortable, but yeah.
Well, congratulations, mate, and wasn't P1 like you were talking yourself up about during the course of the week, but still P3, you'll take that a podium finish, mate, and all the best for next week.
Yeah, next week's not going to go well. Donington and me just do not mix, but yeah, maybe if I get another unlucky/lucky disconnect and I pop into a P3 again, we'll see.
And who knows, we might, we've seen wet races at Donington in the past, haven't we, in different categories that, yes, they've been quite interesting. But congratulations, mate. We will see you next week. And I think after the, it's felt like it's been an enduro round, and it's felt a bit like it for us up here in the commentary box too, Rob. But thank you again for your company for another week, mate. It's been fantastic to be, as it is every week, back on the live streaming.
Yeah, it was a very interesting race. We had the old Harold Holt submarine claiming some people tonight, but it was a good result from Waffles and Truss, and it was good to see old mate Jace get up in the third, even though he didn't win. So I think maybe Shep might have to give him a talking to, and Shep might have to teach him how to drive in the wet. But yeah, it was a good race and very entertaining. But gee, I think we've been on for about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, and I'm absolutely knackered, Trev.
It's nearly been 2 hours. I've got to go and I've got to go for a pit stop myself very shortly, but we are just about out of time. We are done here on the live stream tonight. like we say each and every week, if you want to get involved, all the w's.supremeracingleague.com. Don't forget to join us next week for 25 laps of Donington Park. That's round 5 next Thursday night from 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Daylight Savings Time. Who is the submarine going to claim next week? We'll wait and find out. Thank you very much for your company, everyone. And it's bye for now. See you next week.